So it is week 2 of my fall writing semester. And I already have a couple of additions, some new things I've thought of for the next, 12 weeks or so that I hadn't even anticipated when I was kind of outlining and creating my syllabi and stuff like that. So let me take you back to the first week of this experiment, very long experiment, and briefly tell you what I've been up to. So first day, not off to a great start. Thought I was sick, took my temperature, was not sick. So a bit of a wash day though, as my allergies just like fully overpowered me. But on Tuesday, it was time to get to work. Oh man. Well, this is adorable. It's also an attack. Homework day 1. Let's go to the library. I have stuff to return to. One of my assignments for this first week that I'd set up was to go into the library, have a bit of a school trip, if you will, and find some books in my genre, cozy mysteries, what I'm currently writing, and really work to analyze them, to look over their first lines, but to also look at their back cover copy for both my functional first line class and my Back Matter Matters class. And this was actually super helpful. I attempted it in the first library, but it was so hot. In fact, our entire library system is basically getting their AC units replaced and renovated and stuff, which is obviously good and necessary. We had to do that in our own house just a couple years ago. Also in the summer though, which means it is dreadfully warm still inside when that happens. And so I left the first library being like, okay, let me see if this other library will be better. It wasn't, but it did have its books organized a little bit better so I could find the specific mystery section. And the plus side of cozy mystery is that it's very clear from the cover versus say like an intense thriller. Completely different vibes. You can usually tell that even by the spine just from the color choices, which is quite fun. Something to note for the, upcoming future of A Closet Full of Cauldrons. The most difficult part in this library was actually figuring out which books were like book 1 and which one are book 11 in this series, or a whole different series by the same author that have slightly similar names but are not the same protagonists. Like, it was fun, a bit of a journey, also very warm again. They had fans out, but it did not do quite enough. So I did take a handful of books so that I could fully study them. And I'm also going to utilize Goodreads, Amazon, kind of like I did for my opening lines video. And from my library books, it was important to figure out sort of which ones were the first, second, or third in the series, and if I found that there were any differences amongst them. So I'm kind of jumping ahead a few weeks from what I'd initially planned on my syllabus, but also I think that's just what this research is going to be. A lot of it kind of jumbled together, which is going to be fun to unjumble it and, kind of really line by line write out my thoughts for my, market research, really. Now in my weekly planner, I have been writing down kind of the assignments that I have, but also what I've managed to accomplish. So the first week of class, I managed chapter 4 on Tuesday, chapter 5 and 6 on Wednesday, and part of chapter 7 on Friday. So about 3.5 chapters or so. Now, one of the big things that I wanted to reward myself with is I kind of want to do over my office, and I thought it would be really fun to kind of hang. At the time I was thinking origami cranes because I've made a bunch of them during the early lockdown and stuff, but then I've been wanting to make these origami bats because A Closet Full of Cauldrons, my main character Eva has a pet bat, and so I thought that would be so cute. So I attempted and it did not work. So I need to find a couple other videos, but now I have like a backlog of chapters to make my pretty bats for. So I think it might be cranes and bats. I'm just gonna mix it up. But I haven't gotten to that part yet, but that's, I mean, he was trying like with this little, you know, was he getting there? I don't know. There were like 3 steps still and I got confused. But I will make some more, probably this week. Now the big thing here is that during this first week was also the summer scare readathon that my friend Jessica at the Hex Library puts on. And so I read, do I have it with me somewhere here now? No, I read the book Final Girls and I had conflicting thoughts about it. I actually, at the time of reading, had to skip to the back of the book to spoil it for myself to see if it was worth continuing. I liked the twist enough that I did go back and continue reading it. I'm glad I finished it. You know, I will read more books by that author, whose name I'm blanking on for some reason right now. Oh, Riley Sager. I see another book down here in one of my mini piles. I will read another Riley Sager book. But anyways, what happens is that as I'm reading, I always take pictures of paragraphs or lines that either really resonate or even sometimes that I would have personally reworded. I think all of these are that writer part of our brain that we can't turn off as we're reading. And so, but I love that part. And so what I decided to do this time was to take all of those quotes, basically take the parts that I really love that I took pictures of and go ahead and like handwrite them out because of that like brain hand connection and underline the part that really stood out to me. I think what I want to do is over the course of this entire semester, keep up with them. I think there's something more to this. I think I need a few more books to really see where it is, but in the past when I was younger, I used to do kind of the same thing with fan fiction. I would copy and paste it and then I would get this big document and eventually I would print them out. Not even, I mean, I would print out whole fan fictions, but I would print out just like these quotes and snippets from different fan fiction that I just really loved. So that's always been a part of writing and reading to me. But I think having it in this same notebook as I'm doing all of my other homework is going to be really fun. So something I hadn't thought of before that I'm now going to keep doing. I'm currently reading Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I anticipate to have a lot to underline for this too, so that is exciting. And that brings us to the second week.
He starts second, Lando Norris to his right, 5 lights on.
I think only Magnuson's actually a pit start. Oh, wow. That was awful. Lando, no. That whole side was just bad. Or my McLarens were bad. I don't know.
Buffy! Buffy! I love when something resonates. But for now, class is in session and I need to finish up some of my homework. Oh.
Supposed to float.
Float. Exactly like that.
Oh, it's good.
Yay.
Beep, 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 beep. That is time on our final sprint. Let me know how y'all did. Okay, I am now up 1,336 words for the day. As of today, I am part of the way through chapter 8 as I am drafting it anew for the first time. Kind of crazy to be in draft 3 and having entire new scenes to draft. This happens often, but it's just, it always feels kind of jarring at first where you're so used to doing revising and editing that you're like, whoa, these are new words that I've not looked over a bunch. And so it's fun to kind of try and match that and make sure I'm fitting everything in where it needs to and how it needs to. Other things I have, so ideally I'll get through 8, 9, and 10 this week that I have left. I filmed the opening lines intro already, so if you recognize this outfit and this makeup, I'm not a makeup girl. I've never really been a makeup girl. When I was at corporate, I only really wore makeup because like I had to look professional. So it's a decade ago almost. Ugh. But I saw that ColourPop had a Pokemon palette and I was like, I need this. So anyways, I'm playing around with things now. I am filming this first week of the writing semester. More video stuff that's not that exciting. Let's see. So identify books for opening lines, which I'm working on. I want to nail down if I think Paranormal Professional Organizer is too wordy or if it perfectly fits in line with what's expected of cozy mystery. Need to look up what this word is called, but it's, you know, it's kind of like the series name, what would appear on Goodreads or something where it's like Paranormal Professional Organizer #2. Do I want that? Do I want it to be the name of the town? Do I just want it to be the character's name? It's also something that you'd put on like the cover where you're like a Paranormal Professional Organizer mystery. And it perfectly sums up what you are going to get from the book. So, but is it too on the nose and is it too wordy? I just need to decide. I need to do a Patreon post for some plans. Genre expectations meant for cozies for first lines and cover. That is what I have here. The cover part goes into the Paranormal Professional Organizer thing. What appears on the cover, you know? Sometimes it's like with recipes. Sometimes it's like cute stuff with the author in the back, you know? But you see it more often in cozies, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I do have a character that is a baker that it feels like you have to in cozies, and I love it. I love it. So really, do you have to, or do I just love it and want to put it in? So I need to decide if there's a recipe as well from the book that I would put in, which is also a bonus item on my checklist. So like it kind of all feels like it's meant to be. It is later today than I am usually working, but I think I'm done now. Just need to film this little intro. So I'm gonna go hang out with the dogs, hang out with the cat, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning. Good morning. It is 8 o'clock. It stormed like crazy last night. Gotta clean the gutters. That's fun. I have some peach oolong tea. I slept terribly because my partner was away and I lived by myself for years, so it's not the being alone, it's the feeling of something's off. Kind of like why I can't sleep in hotels comfortably until like the 3rd night, because I'm just like everything is different. Anyways, I think I'm gonna take it a little bit easy for the morning. I'm going to have peach oolong tea. We're gonna do some handwriting. I'm really hoping to finish this handwritten project soon, but I still have, you can kind of see, like halfway to go. So who knows how long it'll actually be, but let's see if we can't get a couple pages done. Yesterday I gave myself a star and a smiley face because I really liked something that I wrote, and I want to make sure that no matter what, when I go back through this, I'll be able to find it again. feel like there's some trick in knowing when these are ready to come off the vine, but I don't know what it is. But after that rain yesterday, and since I got burned so bad that first time with the like the little skin stretching, I'm debating on what to do. Do I go ahead and take some of them off now? I have quite a few. Buffy! You're being a silly girl. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will be back here again tomorrow. We'll see what the cards give us. The girls know it is time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for spending a little bit of it with me. Bye, friends. Good job, Buffy. So I was in the middle of the sprint today. I finished the scene that I was working on, the completely new scene that's gonna that is kind of in chapter 8 right now, or might be its own chapter later. And I still needed to finish one more scene before I could check it off my list, but to do that I have to bridge the gap a little bit. I had to do like another little tiny scene that I'm drafting for the first time, and I was like, oh man, I just because I didn't sleep well, I think I just didn't have it in me at first. And so I went to journaling, and I was not intending to give myself a pep talk, but I did manage to give myself like a, you haven't filmed anything for this yet today. You still have 20 minutes on the sprint. Why don't you just set up the camera and do a time lapse, and whatever you get, you get. Wonderful. I didn't complete that new scene, but I did do most of it. So that this afternoon, a little bit, I actually have some video editing to do, but a little bit later this afternoon, I'll actually be able to finish chapter 8 and get it off my list, which is really exciting. So the one other thing I did journal about though, let's see if I can find it. In the entirely new scene I added in, I almost want to check if it works. So this is the one thing about slotting in these scenes. In my head, when I outlined it, it works. But when I go back to read it, is it actually going to fit pacing wise, you know? So I think what I've done is I've talked myself into just completing it and continuing on, because I do have to go back to the very beginning again as part of my read through, and actually I have a few more things left to name and stuff that I've left highlighted in the documents. So like I already know I'm gonna have to do this again, so I might as well just hold off a little bit longer, believe in my outlining self, and keep going. All that to say, I guess journaling works. Journaling works. We're editing together. It's very kind of her to help me. Thank you, Finn. You're so cute. Oh, I have my computer here with me. That must be first. The power went out briefly and she was very scared. So very scared. Is this how we lay now, Zelda? Is this how we... The power went out again. And it's back on, okay. You guys want to help me pick them? Let's go, Buffy. Yep. All right, I've just ended my Patreon stream and I am almost done with my reread, up to the place that I felt I need to stop. I'm feeling good so far. I think it's going to be, I like seeing the changes I've already made this draft. that's exciting. Normally I would not advise going back, but it was just really eating at me. So we'll see how I'm feeling once I actually conquer, once I read through the new chapter. But for now, all good. We'll come back and see y'all later this afternoon. My concern was for not. It actually reads totally fine and fits. There are little tweaks that obviously need to be done so that it can get up to like the level of the rest of the story, since it was just first draft material in that scene. But I'm glad I went back to reread it though. It did confirm that the changes I'm making are working, so hooray, cheers.
Yeah, they will have a lot warmer tyres by the time the lights go out than those that have been sat on the front row here for quite some time. But we are ready in the heat of Monza. It's lights out and away we go.
That was better, I think.
Just gravel. Come on, pastry!
Oh.
Much I'm regretting this. Hi. Starting with Josh, Sam, Rach. Tonight, it's me.
There's not a soul alive who can touch you when it comes to
Almost done.
Something very particular that I'm looking for. It needs to be a Douglas fir, at least 8 feet tall, and looking from all sides.
Okay, I have just finished chapter 11 and I'm now on to the completely new scene, the kind of final completely new scene that I'm injecting into the story. So exciting. Right now, technically the story has 21 chapters. This will make it 22 or so. I think by the time I like rearrange, like retitle things and sort of, you know, place the scenes, it'll probably be up to like 24 or 25. But for right now, doing great. Now this is technically what I was supposed to have had done on Monday for this week. You can see I didn't even fill in all of my stuff, but I am slowly but surely kind of creeping my way back up after I took the time to reread. So I'm feeling very good about it. I also finished like all of my first line opening line research. The video is going to go live later today. So the story really feels like it's coming together as well, which is nice and exactly where I need it to be. Hooray. I hope I will feel just as confident with the new chapter that I'm adding in. I really don't think I'll need to reread things. I really feel like I got it right. Ugh, fingers crossed. I guess I should probably get back to work. So this is what I have on my slate for this week. I leave on Friday to go to Disney World on a little girls trip with my mom and my friend. But before that, I have a Patreon stream for Preptember, and we're actually on Tuesday right now. So one of the things I was looking at for this week. Oh, hello. Sorry, my hair's still wet from my shower after my run. I managed to complete the old chapter 12 and also this new folder, so completely new scene. So realistically, this is going to be a whole chapter in itself, but the old chapter 12, which means I am a little bit behind. You can tell I just started working on chapter 13. I'm behind from what my goal was to start on Monday, so it's Tuesday. In theory, I'd be somewhere around chapter 15, 16, maybe even 17. But I did not plan any work for this next week. But I am going to be taking my computer because I really want to get this done. And also, there's just some time when with the breaks that we're taking from Disney World and the heat that I think I'm going to be able to get some, at least a chapter done would be phenomenal. I'm just so close that I really just don't want to, I don't want to stop. I just want to complete it. So I think I can catch back up also because I put chapter 22 in quotes. As of right now on the Scrivener doc, there is no chapter 22. It just was giving me room for what the inevitable new chapters would be. So I have some wiggle room still. I think I'm still on track is what I'm saying. And after the stream today, we are going to learn to make some bats. All right, time to consult the library books again and some more Goodreads research. Oh, bro. All right, it took a bit longer to get the book tree up, but I did that, so I was able to put it in the post here. I'm trying to figure out, as I told my patrons, that one of my goals for this semester was to really figure out what I wanted to call my cozy mystery series. So I've now turned it into a group project. I think what's going to happen is for sure the paranormal professional organizer mystery. It's such a mouthful that I think that one's gonna go by the wayside. I'm just curious to see which they like the sound of. Is it based on the character's name? Is it based on the small town? Is it based on the business, which I didn't totally do, but I did kind of do? Or is it based on a sidekick? Actually, I didn't have this one at all, but I thought it was interesting, an interesting category. So, the options. Only one ring. Only one wing really moves. The poor little bat, but hey, this is much better than the first attempt. And so completes my first month of my summer writing semester, month or so. I feel really pretty good about things. I think I'm technically only a week behind, in quotes, on some of my homework items. The bettering for betas is going really well. I am on track with it. It has been quite fun to track in Pacemaker. I'm also excited to start using Pacemaker for other projects as well. It's been great to track by scenes and not just word count and not just chapters. So that's been really fun. I do think my origami bat needs some work, but I will say he looks much more like a bat than the first one did. So that's a win. Bettering for betas has been going really well. The functional first line has been going really well. It is it has been so helpful to have my patrons to answer some of my poll questions. I have like new things to percolate on that I alone would not have come up with, which is the wonderful, amazing part of having a writing community, not just like on Patreon, but also the Twitch live streams. I get like, a lot of us can bounce our problems off of each other in the moment as they're happening. It's why I ask you guys so many questions on YouTube videos, because it's so wonderful getting other writers' perspectives on things. Writing is such a solitary activity, so that then when we get other feedback from other people, it broadens our world, you know, it's wonderful. The one that I have not done as well on is my Back Matter Matters course, but I do think that this is kind of the next step. I think I just needed to get some stuff named. I'm kind of working on the front cover, if you will, with naming the series title. And I did do a little bit of research on that, which was great. Let me get my notebook. I wrote down, there are very general things that I think everyone knows to expect from a cover, but I wanted to see, because sometimes the Cozy Mysteries will have like a recipe in the back of the book, and that's kind of broadly displayed on the cover, but I think that's kind of a thing of old. Not the recipes, but having it displayed on the cover. I have a character, Miss Mabel, who is a chef. She's a baker. She has a bakery. It's a perfect fixture within this world, right on the human side of the border between the human and magical world. And so I thought having a recipe from her would be really great. But I know now, after all the research, that I don't need to actually put that on the cover. So it's just like little things that I have known, but actually doing the research, writing it all down has been really helpful in a way that I don't think I would have done without the class. I've had this curiosity about the first lines for so long. I started the idea of the video a year and a half ago, but it's only now that I actually finalized it and got it done. Journaling, again, has been so incredibly helpful. I'm excited to really fill this up over the course of the rest of the semester, the rest of the fall. There's lots of pages left, but I do think I'm gonna get them filled up. And before this semester started, I did not have the idea for my 100K Q4 challenge. It's funny, the timing of everything. I think I actually did have it that first week of class, but just, you know, that influx of ideas coming at you all at once. I don't think that my syllabi are going to need any adjusting for it. One of the things that I've been doing for prep is this pretend query, which I think is quite similar, though not exact, to the kind of Back Matter Matters class. And so I'm thinking maybe I could incorporate it in somehow. But also I just think that the lessons I'm learning here about how to pitch in my class, also frequently visiting the r/pub tips and reading queries and just consuming so that you know, it's a purposeful research that simply writing I can't accomplish, you know? And I mean, writing every day is phenomenal. Being on track in this way is phenomenal. So that alone is great, but it does require you to dive deeper into things, especially as I'm exploring genres that are new to me in this kind of publishing capacity. Oh, quite fun. Anyways, I've had a great little first month of my semester. Please do comment down below if you've been taking any classes. If you organize classes for yourself, let me know how that is going. Generally, let me know how your writing is going, what you are up to right now, and let me know what the last thing that is writing adjacent that you researched is. Whether that is like how to make your own fantasy map and actually creating your own fantasy map, or if it is something like how to write a query and practicing writing queries. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye.